Hey, Izzy here. Welcome to another episode of Valuart Podcast, where we spotlight the creative minds shaping the digital art landscape. In view of its upcoming Valuart Solos from July 7th to 9th, today we have the pleasure of speaking with Kitasavi, an Istanbul-based artist who masterfully combines 3D graphics, sculpture, painting, and photography. Enjoy this episode as Kitasavi takes us on a thought-provoking journey into the depths of perception, where playful characters, vibrant colors, and textures come to life within a captivating symphony of chaos and order. Hey Kitasavi, thank you so much for being on the Valuart podcast today. I'd love to start this interview by starting off with your creative process. So I'll start with the first question. Your practice merges various mediums such as 3D graphics, sculpture, painting, and photography. In your work, how do you bring together these diverse mediums process-wise?
I've always been interested in different things. When I was in art school, I had experience with sculpture and painting, and I was really into photography at some point. But then I took a safer route and became a graphic designer, thinking it would provide a stable job and income. During my time at the design studio, I learned Cinema 4D, although I mostly use it for basic stuff like making design mockups. After a few years, I decided to go freelance, giving me the freedom to work from anywhere, travel and see the world. During this period, I started exploring digital art, and all my previous skills came in handy. In my journey towards finding my own artistic style and voice, I experimented with various techniques. Everything started to come together when I discovered digital sculpting. In my workflow, I can blend different mediums in a few ways. I usually start by making sketches in Photoshop, then I vectorize and extrude some of the drawings in Illustrator. Afterward, I begin sculpting all the objects and details in the scene. I can do it with a graphic tablet or in virtual reality. It's similar to traditional sculpting but with endless possibilities, since I have an infinite amount of clay at my disposal. And if I happen to make a mistake, I can always press Ctrl-Z to undo it, unless, of course, the software crashes and I lose everything. When creating each object, I treat it as a separate sculpture, a unique piece of art, and carefully assemble them together to achieve a cohesive and balanced composition. One aspect that draws parallels to painting is that I don't always aim to create a realistic space. Instead, I treat each piece as my canvas, filling it with spots and brush strokes. But all these spots and strokes are three-dimensional objects. Once I've sculpted the objects, I bring them into Cinema 4D. I start playing with textures and lighting to enhance the overall look and feel of the artwork. Sometimes I incorporate my own paintings or photographs as textures or backgrounds, adding a personal touch and further enriching the final piece.
The use of organic forms, vibrant colors, and textures is really notable in your work. What inspired you to use these elements, and how do you think they contribute to the overall impact of your work?
There are different reasons why I prefer to use organic forms, vibrant colors, and tangible textures in my pieces. While I'm not directly inspired by nature, the organic shapes that emerge in my art are a direct result of the manual sculpting process. The movement of my hand is not perfect, and I think the imperfections that arise from human craftsmanship give each detail a distinct character. As for the colors, I draw inspiration from life in a big city. The hustle and bustle of the streets, all the interesting characters passing by, the signs, and even the trash. I'm attracted to vivid colors because I grew up in a pretty dull and gray environment. My family didn't have the means to travel, so when I finally got the chance to explore other countries with their fascinating architecture and rich history, it blew my mind. I was especially inspired by the vibrant cultures, nightlife, fashion, and neon lights of Southeast Asia. It was like a sensory explosion that infused my art with a new zest for life. I wanted to bring that energy and excitement into my creations. Bright colors became my way of rebelling against the monotony I experienced growing up, and they serve as a celebration of life and self-expression. The textures are very important to me. I incorporate tangible textures in my artworks to create a connection between viewers and the depicted objects. By crafting surfaces that resemble various materials such as stones, metal, plastic, or skin, I aim to evoke a sense of familiarity and trigger sensory memories. Tangible textures invite viewers to engage with the artwork on a multisensory level, blurring the boundaries between art and reality. This adds depth and impact, making a lasting impression that resonates beyond the visual experience.
The balance between abstract and figurative elements seems to be a critical aspect of your art. How do you navigate this delicate balance in your creations?
Balancing abstract and figurative elements in my art is an interesting challenge that happens naturally as I create. Sometimes my composition leans more towards the abstract side, capturing shapes, colors, and emotions. Other times I draw inspiration from the real world, incorporating human faces, figures, animals, or familiar objects. But most of my artworks exist somewhere in between. I intentionally avoid fitting my art neatly into a single category. I find joy in the ambiguity and the blurred boundaries between the recognizable and the abstract. This allows for diverse interpretations and sparks the viewer's imagination. Adding photographs I take on the street or capturing food at restaurants adds another layer of reality, enhancing the balance between the figurative and abstract elements. What matters most to me is the emotional impact and evocative power of my art. I strive to create harmony that deeply resonates with viewers on a personal level, provoking their emotions, senses, and thoughts.
In particular, your work is often rich in playful characters, hidden Easter eggs, and references to your culinary and travel experiences. Can you share some of your favorite? How do you hope viewers interact with these elements?
It's hard for me to pick specific favorites among all the characters, Easter eggs, and references in my work because there are just so many of them. But let me share a few tricks and elements that I really enjoy incorporating. One trick I often use is leaving my signature in the artwork, but not in the traditional way. Instead, I write my name with differently shaped and colored letters, scattering them throughout the piece. It's like a little game of finding all the letters of my name, if someone has the time and patience to do it. Honestly, even I sometimes struggle to find all the hidden letters myself because they blend into the other details so easily. Another favorite of mine is placing a big face somewhere in the background and hiding by smaller details in the front. I think most of the time only I can tell there is a face, but sometimes even I forget about it and get surprised by finding it. I also love wrapping objects in photographs. It's like giving ordinary things a whole new texture and story. I might wrap a rock in a photo of a pizza, wrap a concrete-like block in a picture of a cat, or throw a photo of my own face on some abstract organic shape. It might look pretty weird, but so much fun. Lastly, one of the most interesting games for viewers is trying to find all the creatures and characters hidden in my pieces. I like to create characters and creatures that are a bit more abstract, so sometimes it's not immediately clear if it's an actual creature or just an artistic shape. It adds to the mystery and allows people to use their imagination to interpret the artwork. Overall, I hope these elements bring a sense of discovery and playfulness to my art. I want viewers to engage with the artwork on multiple levels, to find those hidden gems, and to form their own personal connections, to take their time, explore the details, and see what surprises they uncover. It's like embarking on an adventure within the artwork itself.
How would you define your style and artistic philosophy?
When it comes to defining my style and artistic philosophy, I don't really prioritize putting a label on it. While I draw influences from various sources like fantasy and sci-fi books, computer games, cartoons, contemporary art, ceramics, and graphic design, my art intentionally avoids resembling any existing style. Clear associations are something I steer away from, allowing viewers to the freedom to form their own interpretations. Throughout my journey of drawing since childhood and studying art for years, I often felt constrained by creating what others expected of me, rather than expressing my own artistic vision. I believe that art should transcend conventional beauty because humans have the capacity to appreciate a wide range of visual aesthetics. My art reflects the chaotic nature of my mind and my life, which lacks stability due to the political and economic instability I've experienced. This lack of predictability has led me to embrace improvisation both in my art and in my daily existence. While my art may appear chaotic, I always strive to discover a sense of order and balance within it, mirroring my quest for stability in life. The vibrant colors, diverse creatures, and atmosphere of celebration in my creations symbolize the aspects and things in life I may not always experience: economic stability, social guarantees, fun parties, friendships, and serenity. On the other hand, the dark and gloomy colors and shapes represent the fears, anxieties, and the hardships I have faced and continue to face. Art serves as a form of therapy for me, helping me navigate the uncertainties of life and find solace in the creation process and the emotions it evokes. My artistic philosophy centers around the freedom to create without constraints, embracing the interplay between light and dark, and empowering viewers to forge their own personal connections with my art. It is an ongoing journey of self expression and exploration, aiming to inspire others to embrace their unique paths, discover beauty in the unconventional, and find strength in the face of adversity.
Can you tell us more about your upcoming Valuart Solos exhibition? Which artworks will be exposed, and what narrative connects them?
For my upcoming Valuart Solos exhibition, I've picked some of my best and most beloved artworks. These pieces are larger in scale, filled with intricate details that truly come to life when viewed on big screens. These days we all look at tiny phone and laptop screens, missing out on the tiny nuances and hidden treasures. This exhibition will give everyone a chance to fully appreciate the art in all its glory. These artworks are characterized by their busy and maximalist 3D compositions, with whimsical creatures and abstract shapes that coexist in harmony and balance. They form a vibrant tapestry of visual elements that evoke a sense of wonder and curiosity. There are works spanning from 2021 to 2023, showcasing the essence of my artistic style. Most of them are still images. There are also a couple of animations. What ties all these artworks together is a dreamlike, otherworldly feeling. They'll make you question the very nature of beauty and reality. Are the things we see truly real, or do they exist only in our heads? Do we remember things as they actually happened, or did our memories change and twist them over time? It's a thought-provoking journey into the depths of perception. These artworks offer an alternative to the conventional beauty we're used to. They represent a significant phase in my artistic journey, but I'm not necessarily sticking to the same path from now on. That's why it felt so important to bring all these works together in this exhibition. They hold immense personal meaning to me.
Finally, what's next for you after the Valuart Solos exhibition? Are there any directions or projects you're currently exploring?
I've been exploring different artistic directions and projects. One thing I'm really into right now is 3D art that looks almost flat. What I do is create a composition of a few flat layers. It gives them this painterly or drawn quality that's really refreshing and gets me excited. In addition to that, I'm working on a series of artworks that focus on distorted humanoid faces and objects. I'm playing around with different compositions, embracing a more minimalistic approach and experimenting with limited colors. It's all about pushing boundaries and exploring new ways to express my artistic vision. Another area I've been diving into is AI art. It's incredible how artificial intelligence can collaborate with human creativity to produce something truly unique. I'm actively exploring ways to merge AI technology with my own artistic process. It's a fascinating journey to see how these two realms can come together and create something extraordinary.
That wraps up our interview for today. Thank you, Kitasavi, for taking part in this interview. We're absolutely excited for your upcoming Valuart Solos. Those who tuned in, remember to RSVP through the email below in the description. And remember to subscribe to stay updated on our upcoming Valuart Solos exhibitions.